Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Flexing Joe back with another trade recap. Hit an absolutely amazing trade yesterday, taking a long position on NQ near the low of day. I took 4 contracts. I scaled off the first 3 relatively quickly, locked into that profit as we broke through a new high of day and through VWAP. And then I followed my trade plan. I had my sights set on this area up here around 16570, and I was able to lock in the runner contract at 160 points of profit, about $3,200 minus commissions. So I want to go over that trade, why I took it, and why I held through such choppy action. All right. So first things first, right? This was the day prior. So what I have here is just the whole move from the low of day on December 11th, the day prior to my trade, and this move all the way through the CPI print on the morning of the 12th. Okay. So what I did was I just looked at this swing low to this swing high, and I wanted to see if we were going to pull back to around the midpoint of that, which also happened to coincide with this area that was first rejection and then later became, a place where we broke out based on it and pushed up. So I wanted to see if we're going to come back to test that area again. And also, shout out to a guy named Danny. He's the one who taught me about this. This is near one of our century levels, right? So on ES, it'd be like 4,500, 4,600. On NQ, you're looking at 16,400. So I see that we have a century level in here. I see this, golden zone area, the top of it. I see this rejection and then ultimately breakout in base. And I think, hey, we're probably going to come back to this. There's a good potential we come back to it. If we come back to it and I see strong buying, I'm going to look to go long there. And ultimately, my target for the day, I was bullish and I was looking at us hitting, maybe 570 plus. Okay. So I was thinking, okay, from around 16,400, that 570 area is about 170 points. Now, up until this point, my personal best trade on NQ was 150 points. It was previously 141. So I've been moving that up and just trying to get a little bit better each time. So now that you see a 10-minute chart prior to, let's just kind of go into the first few minutes before my entry. So you see we sell off and we get a little bit of buying wick there right out of that zone. That's fine. And then we push down. And when I saw we pushed down and through that and we came back up, that's when I entered. Okay. So I'm going to actually skip forward. I want to get down to the 1-minute time frame. So you'll see that we pushed down through that. And when I saw that we pushed back up, I actually bought in here. And then we pushed down actually relatively close to my risk. So I like to risk 6 points on my NQ trades. I've covered that in the past. One thing here was I actually got relatively close to getting stopped out. And I really should have probably done a bid entry, but I was pretty confident in this long. And I didn't think that I was going to get another good opportunity. I kind of saw it play out and I thought, oh crap, let me get it, right? And so I just bought in. And then it closed a little bit lower. It dojied, so I was green-red for a second. And then it finally... well, for about a minute. And then, of course, it took off. From there, I was looking to scale here just simply because it was a little bit below the opening print. And then you had this, this little micro pivot here on the 1-minute chart. And I was just like, okay, I want to take some off here. I want to trim some off, right? So this was, about a 35-point scale, right? 35 and a quarter. So pretty solid. It pulls back, though, it reaches its peak here right at the high of day. And I saw this rejection and didn't think it was too great. But we pulled back here, and it actually pulls back down to 23. So this was a 25-point pullback. And I thought, oh, boy, like maybe I should have taken another one off. And, it started to shake me out a little bit. But I was pretty confident in my long setup. I just didn't know if we were going to come back down here and test the lows again. Because we never really know what's going to happen, right? So... when it pushed back up again and we broke the high of day, I already had a sell order sitting there waiting, and I just took it off. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to take another one off, de-risk this trade. So now I'm down to 2 out of the 4 cons that I started with. From there, and I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart. From there, what I was really looking at is this pivot here. Following CPI, we moved down. We put in this lower high. We moved down, lower low, lower high. So I wanted to scale around this lower high area because if there were still sellers sitting there and waiting, I wanted to sell into them, right, where they might pick up the ball and try to push against me. So I took another one off there. That scale was for about 57 points, right? So Pretty solid trade, right? Even if I let this last one go to zero, great trade. However, I knew I wasn't going to let the last one go to zero. I had moved my stop up to where the first scale out was, and I still had my sights set on that 570 target. And ultimately, I knew that like 160 was like a good round number for me to take profit. I'd be happy with that number. I wasn't sure about 570, and I was trying to give myself a little bit of a buffer. I really felt confident in that level, though, like very confident. So I knew, I even talked about this. I posted a message. I said I wouldn't be surprised if we trail sideways for a while, let the EMAs catch up and cross. That's exactly what they did. We lifted up here perfectly. And then we put in what looked like a little head and shoulders pattern here, and we pulled back down to VWAP. On a different account, I want to make sure I specify this, on a different PA account, I did take this long from right here. I scaled one out here, and then I had some, honestly, a very weird thing happen. It stopped me out, and it never actually traded at that price. So it showed my stop was actually one tick lower than when I actually exited. So it doesn't quite make any sense because the market never actually traded there. So I'm just going to show you guys that really quickly on the screen. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. So you see, look where it exited me out, and it never traded there. And my stop was right at this 80 level. So it never traded there. Same thing on Thinkorswim. Kind of a pain, but whatever. So I was able to capitalize on this pullback for the longs and carry along that long thesis and make some more money on a different PA account, only trading 2 cons, but still locking in more profit for the day. From there, we did have that bond news. That bond news at 1 p.m., the 30-year bond auction, gave us a nice little pop. We trailed off nicely into the EMAs. I looked for the EMAs to pick it up. I almost, and I should have, this was my mistake, I should have taken another trade on a different PA account because I liked that we had broke out and we were basing on this pivot here to continue along with the EMAs coming up behind us. Would have been a fantastic long entry. As you see, there's really no reason to stop out for quite some time. If we get to where this price level 1, which is exactly where I took that off for a perfect 160 points, if we get to this area here, if you just look here, look at how close we came to me hitting that. And I was in the gym monitoring the trade from my phone, watching like, oh my God, are we just going to hit this price target or not? Like, I was just very concerned. And then, of course, this candle opened, and the first thing it did was pop down. It didn't pop up into my sell order. If we go back to that 1 minute chart, we fast forward. Here it is. Oops. Yeah, I went a little bit too far. Yeah, so you can see, on the 1 minute, like look how many times we came close to getting that fill and didn't. But like I said, here's that 1550 candle. The first thing it did was knife down, and it got eaten back up. I thought, okay, like I'm still in this. There's no reason to stop. I would have been happy to take 150 or 140 points. I didn't care. At that point, it wasn't about getting the record. I just knew that I really felt like we were going to break 570. And then once we do break 570, of course, I get my scale here. It trims down, it pulls back again, and it just rips into the close. And it would have been, for me, 190 points plus. So, in my opinion, a fantastic home run, grand slam type of trade that I don't expect to get every day. I don't expect to get every week, but was super, super happy about it. And that was the trade thesis. I wanted to make sure that I really covered that in full. The biggest part of it that I wanted to make sure is that I did cover that I took additional trades in the middle of it. So I took that trade here, what I felt was a fantastic long setup, and it was. And I should have taken this one because I was on voice talking with other people, in chat, and I specifically called out this long but didn't take it, and that's shame on me. But let me know what you guys think of this trade in the comments. Subscribe. I'll do more trade reviews, winning and losing trades, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.